I'm Harrison Graham. As we dive into today's episode of Bears Now, I first want to ask, please give me a follow on Instagram if you haven't already. We're almost there, 76 followers away. Can we get there by Thursday? I would really appreciate it. Hit that follow button. And once we cross 5,000, remember, we're going to go over some of your mock drafts on this show. So hit me with the follow. We're publishing Bears content over there as well. Go ahead and follow your boy at HGramNFL. All right, let's get into our Bears rumors roundup. How about this? Stefon Diggs trade? I'll go one smoking J. I won't completely dismiss it, but I think there's way more reasons not to do this than to do it. Bleacher Report threw this out there. They listed the Bears as a potential trade destination for the Bills wide receiver. You know, there's thoughts out there. Buffalo could make some changes, although they did bring back Sean McDermott. They did bring back their offensive coordinator, and Joe Brady made him the permanent guy. And I didn't realize this when I started to look into this. His 4-year extension that he signed a couple of years ago just starts next year. And you're kind of like, oh, boy, he's already on the wrong side of 30, and now that big 4-year deal starts to kick in. That's not ideal. Here was the idea from Bleacher Report. Diggs and a middle-round pick for the number 9 overall pick. They either said that, or if the Bears trade down from 9 to like 15 to 20, that pick straight up for Diggs. But I just put it this way because I thought it was easier graphically. I mean, if you know you're getting 12 to 1,400 yards Stefon Diggs for the next even 2 to 3 years of that 4-year deal, you'd be like, okay, like that's pretty decent value here. But then you look at the contract, and in a minute we'll look at some numbers that really give you a pause here. So his remaining contract is this. His cap hit's almost $28 million in 2024, dead $31 million, which makes it hard for Buffalo to trade him. We should mention that off the top first. 27.5 and 25 dead, 22.3. In 2026, you can kind of get out of it. You cut him for $13.5 million dead cap money. 2027, you can really get out of it. Not much guaranteed there whatsoever, but still, it's basically a 2.5 plus 1.5. That contract is too hefty for me. For him being on the wrong side of 30, he'll be 31 at some point next season. And if you watch the Bills closely and how their season panned out, yeah, they got better when they switched to Joe Brady. You know who didn't, though? Stefon Diggs. What happened here? The first 9 games of the year, last 10 include the 2 playoff games, he looked like one of the best receivers in football, which is what he's been for 5 years or so now. 93 yards per game. He had 7 touchdowns, bunch of catches, bunch of yards. Like, he looked like that dominant route runner and presence. Last 10 games, though, targets down, catches down, yards way down, yards per game, 50 less yards per game over the final 10 games, and he only found the end zone once. Now, does that mean he's just washed all of a sudden? I'd say, I want to say no, but that's a drastic turn. Now, are we going to hear about some injury he was playing through or something like that? I guess that's possible, but you look at that downturn combined with the remaining contract, combined with the fact that he's over the age of 30, when you see the numbers start to dip for these skill players, it rarely turns back. Now, I still think he could be a 1,000-yard guy, but I think his 13, 14, 1,500-yard days are over, which is fine in theory because he's playing next to DJ Moore, but he's paid to be that 13, 1,400-yard guy. He's making, $25 to $28 million per year over the next 4 years. So I just think you look at all of that, and I'm just like, I like Stefon Diggs. I think he's been a good player in this league, but these final 2.5 months of this year really give me concern, and at big moments in the playoffs, it hasn't gone well necessarily. Revisiting the trade idea from Bleacher Report, you tell me, would you make this trade? Your first-round pick for Diggs in the middle? Type Y for yes. Type in for no. Let me know in the comment section down below. I'll give you my final answer after this YouTube ad break. I got to pass on Stefon Diggs, man. I think him and DJ Moore could be a good pairing, but I'd rather go cheaper. And if I'm going to pay that kind of money, I'd rather make a run at Mike Evans. At least I'm not having to give up a premium draft pick to get him. You know what I mean? So I like Diggs, good player. I'm worried about the age. I'm worried about the dip in production the second half of last season. I think if Buffalo moves him, a veteran type of team makes more sense for him anyway. So if I'm Chicago, I'm going to go ahead and pass on that opportunity. All right, keep it rolling here. Of course, we got to talk more Caleb Williams. Is he willing to play in Chicago? I mean, I guess he hasn't flat out said it himself, but I think it's pretty clear the way things have transpired. Yes, he is willing to play in Chicago. Now, if you asked him behind closed doors where he would prefer to play, yeah, it's possible he might say Washington. He's from there. His college quarterbacks coach just got hired as their OC. It wouldn't be shocking if he said that, but he's also not going to pull an Eli Manning or a Joe Montana. His head coach at college, Lincoln Riley, who was with him at Oklahoma and USC, had this to say about Caleb today as he made the media rounds. He was talking on the Pat McAfee show. He said, I get the total smokescreen, talking about the narratives around Caleb. Knowing Caleb location-wise, I don't think he cares one bit. All of these franchises are in really good cities. There's advantages to anywhere you can go. He wants to win. He's a competitor. I know he wants to go first overall. All Caleb Williams cares about is winning, and he wants to help a franchise be successful. He's very low-key about it all, and the team he has around him is very low maintenance. He's about the right things, and he's going to make an NFL team very happy. And now, look, it's his head coach. He's not going to come out and bash the kid. But I just think the more and more evidence that piles, and even Colin Cowherd reversing, yeah, his camp called me. They're not anti-Chicago. The bottom line is this. If the Bears want Caleb, they'll get him, right? If he's the guy they want, they're going to take him. There is no evidence that says him and his camp are going to pull an Elway, pull an Eli Manning, and go public and say, we're not playing for the Bears. I guess it could happen, but there's no evidence that is the case. So for Smoking Jays, bear down. If Chicago wants him, he's going to come to Chicago. All right, do you want to talk about today's sponsor? It is Game Time, the best place to go for last-minute tickets for the best price available. And listen, the big game is almost here. We're less than a week away, and if you plan on going, we have a deal for you. Whether you're a new user or existing user at Game Time, you can get $100 off with promo code VEGAS100. That's code VEGAS100, a free $100 while in Vegas. Whew, sign me up. Sounds like a fun opportunity to me. Also, if you haven't created an account with Game Time before, you can also get an additional $20 with promo code BEARSCHAT. That's for new users only. Vegas100 is for new or existing customers with Game Time. Listen, you get the visuals with exact vantage points of any event, sports, comedy show, concert, whatever the case may be. You're going to have the perfect vantage point. Go check them out. Best seats, best prices available with Game Time. So to remind everybody, code Vegas100, get you $100 off for the big game if you purchase a ticket there. And for new customers only, you can get $20 off with promo code BEARSCHAT. Go check out Game Time today. We appreciate them for sponsoring today's show. Link is in the comments and the description. Also, just search your app store, Game Time, and use those promo codes mentioned. All right, so what is the Bears' timeline when it comes to quarterback? I think that's really kind of the next step in all of this is I personally believe, and I know Ryan Poles said a few weeks ago, I think this could drag out to April. I think by the end of the NFL Combine and before the start of NFL free agency, he will have his mind made up. And that's probably when he needs to have his mind made up. As you look at some key dates here, it's a typo on the first one. It's February 26th through March 4th, which I'll be at the NFL Combine for a few days, so that should be fun. NFL free agency, as we get that corrected, starts March 11th. So you got kind of that 10-day window. The Combine really starts to wrap up like the 2nd or so, and then it starts the 11th, free agency does. And then the draft is April 25th through 27th. And the reason I think that first week of March could be the sweet spot is if they come to the conclusion that they're drafting a quarterback, which means they would be more than open to trading Justin Fields, doing it before free agency, in my opinion, maximizes his value. Why? Because any team that wants him wants to know that going into free agency so they can add free agent talent based on his skill set, right? And another reason is there's actually a few sneaky good free agent quarterbacks that could fill up starting jobs. Gardner Minshew, obviously Baker Mayfield, Kirk Cousins. Like, that's 3 jobs that could get taken up. Like, if a team like the Steelers doesn't want to wait until around the draft, they might just go sign a Gardner Minshew or make a run at a Kirk Cousins. Atlanta could go after Kirk Cousins. So I think if you're Chicago, I'm not saying it's easy. I don't think you should rush the decision. But if you come to the conclusion that you are going to draft Caleb Williams or any other draft quarterback, to be fair, to be your starting quarterback, and you decide to trade Justin Fields, I think doing it before free agency gives you the best value because more teams will be interested at that point in time. So that's what I think is the likely timeline. Now, if free agency starts and you get a week in and they still haven't traded Justin, is that a sign they're keeping him? Maybe. I don't know. It certainly gets interesting at that point in time. So if your team keep Justin, you probably want free agency to come and without him getting traded, because then it gets really interesting as we await to see what happens from that point on until the draft. Now make the call. Do you think Caleb Williams will be a Bear? Not what you want, what you think. Will Caleb be a Bear? Type 1 for yes or type 2 for no. Be sure to let us know in the comments section below. Talk a little Jalen Johnson here as we wrap up our rumors roundup. Is he going to take a hometown discount? Oh, that'd be fake news. I think it's pretty clear that's not going to happen. Now, could he take like $500,000 less per year or something like that to get the full guarantee or to get more guaranteed money? Like, sure, but I don't think he's taking less on the guarantees. He was asked about this. He, of course, was in the Pro Bowl. Actually made the game-sealing pass breakup to win the flag game for the NFC. He said, heart's definitely in Chicago. Mine's definitely on the money. So, I mean, we'll figure out if we can make them both come together and get something done. I'm looking forward to see what's to come. He wants top dollar. I mean, he's not shying away from that. I do appreciate that he has said in recent weeks and months, which has been a tune change since he requested a trade, that he wants to remain in Chicago. He said, well, last time we heard from him publicly, he feels like something special is brewing with the defense. And I agree. You see the upward trajectory there, but he's not going to take $17 million per year if $20 million is available. Again, will he take $500,000 less here, maybe $1 million less, maybe, but a significant discount? This is the biggest contract he'll likely ever sign. Like, he's not going to be in the business of taking a notable discount, in my opinion, which is why I think at least to start here, a franchise tag is coming, because the franchise tag number is between 16 and 17 million. So if he wants 21, 22 million per year, Ryan Poles might just place that tag on him and say, all right, we'll tag you for now. We'll revisit the negotiations, but and we'll go from there. And look, that might piss him off. He might request a trade again, hold out of camp. Who knows? But I don't think he'd be a guy that skips games. So I think if you're the Bears, you can afford to take that risk. Franchise tag him. Hopefully you get a long-term deal done. But if not, you at least have him under team control for this year. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Chicago Bears Now, the latest Bears news and rumors. My name is Harrison Graham. Please subscribe for more content. Just about to get to 87,000 subs. We appreciate it.